Hello, welcome back, everyone. So we don't have anything on the agenda. Might as well start with the status that we do every time. So let me start with Venkat, maybe. Do we have any updates on open sourcing stuff on CTime usage, on anything that you have?
Yeah. Sorry. For the SST tags, I think there's still internal kind of review going on. So there's kind of some changes that need to be done in order to open source. Same thing with the test drive. There's a couple of weeks delay there as well, but hopefully some updates coming there soon. On the CTAM side, I need to check with Rajat for the release into main, so we can consume the latest code. But we're working out a model for the contribution and review internally. So we started putting it into our automation workflow and kind of have it set up now. It's a question of how we contribute the tests to CTAM upstream. So all three are kind of under active, participation contribution. So
Got it. Thanks for the update, Venkat. So I have a quick question. Since you're working more closely with Rajat, are you saying that the merge of those separate dev branches into a one dev branch, is that done or not done at this point?
I don't believe it's done. Let me double check to be sure, because as of last week, it wasn't. Uh, yeah, it's not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, not an issue. I'm asking because I would need to put in some code at that time to automate the release to PyPy. Like when we have the one dev branch, then I can also put in the stuff on the main branch.
Yeah, we still have the same, like, different developer branches, and then yeah, we don't have anything in domain, so the status is the same. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I mean, I don't think we need to do anything actively right now. I know people are busy generally with a lot of stuff. I am myself as well. So my only question is, at some point when this happens, maybe you or Rajat give me a heads up so I can put in that code uh, to publish to PyPy, right?
Sounds good. Yeah, I haven't been able to attend the Monday Microsoft call in a while, but I'll check with Jet and make sure. Yeah.
All right, all right. Thank you, Venkat.
Thanks, Adrian.
Igor, any updates you want to share?
No technical updates, administrative updates. Adrian probably saw it. So Dan is still planning to release viewer for the OCP format, but we're not sure when. So he probably needs to talk to other folks. And regarding maintaining the OCP CPP library, I guess if there are any bugs, I'm on the hook to fix them. So if you see any problems, please report them. There is one pending PR if anybody wants to help review that. Yep, that's it from my side.
So I think you posted that PR, if I remember correctly.
Sorry, could you repeat your question again?
If I remember correctly, I think you posted that PR, right?
Oh, yeah, right.
Okay, so I'll do the review for that one, and so that you can merge it. And I guess the answer to my question, so that all of the people in the group are informed. Whenever we have PRs coming from the outside or other contributors and or issues, you will be handling those, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. And on the visualizer tool, is there anything that I could do to help to get that out?
Sorry, could you repeat your question again? I couldn't hear it clearly.
All right. On the visualizer tool, on the output visualizer tool, is there anything I can do to help you out with getting that?
Oh, I don't know about that. I can talk to Dan again and see if you can help somehow. Or you mean help in what way? Technical way to review it, or just in any way, right?
Whatever is needed. Yeah.
Okay. I'll talk to Dan and see if he wants any help.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks, Igor. Okay, and Aaron, I don't know if you wanna say a couple of words about our discussion earlier. I think we're gonna try to get something working on the OSFCI topic this week, right?
Yes, so the plan is to tomorrow start the setup and installation of the tooling on the CI with you on the call.
All right, and just wanna confirm maybe again, maybe I'm a bit too insistent with this. You think there is a technical mechanism so that we can launch jobs from GitHub automation, right?
Yes, there should be a pathway eventually to do that. I mean, we haven't set all that up, so caveat is that assuming everything works as planned, it should work because there's a API way of accessing it and so on and so forth. But yes, that is the rough idea.
Right. Does it have a throttling mechanism?
Yes, once you get a session, you have about 1 hour. And so if someone locks out all the available instances, you can't get a session. So that's the rough limit.
Okay. And off the top of your head right now, how many instances can you make maximum? Like I'm thinking if we have multiple repos which may wanna test at the same time.
Remember, this is real hardware, so you have 3 available server boards on which things are running. So once you reserve a server unit, it's a 1 hour clock that starts off. So assuming we are good citizens, we could potentially then release things as we finish, and then we see it that way. But these are physical machines, so availability will be constrained if someone is already having a session.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's fine. I'm just trying to figure out a bit even before our discussion tomorrow because we have some time today as well. My idea that I'm floating in my head right now is whether we need some sort of queuing mechanism because there's very limited number of sessions, right? So is there a queuing inside OSFCI?
Yeah, there is. So
Okay.
roughly what happens is it'll give you a readout on how long that you'd have to wait. But the API is simple as it can also have a failover like try again and try again later. So there's a variety of ways we can look at this. And the other thing that we can think about is setting up in such a way that these jobs run off hours. So
yeah, we can probably do that scheduling. Off hours is kind of difficult to say because this is globally, right? So
yeah. So there's an instance in Europe, and then there's an instance in US. But I think for us, we'd have to use the US one because most of the folks are US. And the US instance also has more server boards at this point. The Europe one only has 1 at this point.
Okay, but on the queuing mechanism, is there something to actually have this queue that I'm thinking of? Like, think of a standard queue, like you pull a
So
ticket and you're part of the queue, or is
so
it racy?
No, when you try to get a session, it'll roughly say there are no available instances. Here's the amount of time you'll have to wait to get an instance. There are X number of people ahead of you in the queue. There's a readout like that.
Okay, so when your turn comes,
Yeah, you'll get the session.
you have that spot guaranteed, right, in the queue.
In theory, yes. I mean, there's always vagaries, but it should work as intended.
So what's the timeout for that? Like, let's say your item in the queue has arrived and you're not taking it, or does it get allocated automatically and then you start the 1 hour timeout?
If you're still waiting for it, you'll get the session. If you've dropped off, you'll be gone. So especially if you're scheduling this over an API, which is what I think we are going to do, we'd have to manage it using our own wits. So essentially, when you use an API call, it'll say, is there a free server or not?
Mm-hmm.
So then you can also look at it, getting a timeout at that end where you say, I'll retry in 45 minutes to see if I've got an instance.
Okay.
There's not a lot of sophistication around this thing because we don't have full user management. So we'll figure it out. But what I'm saying is the constraint at all ends is that you are reserving a real hardware instance. The firmware is getting loaded onto a real hardware. And so that can't be sort of it can't be
It's
sort
expensive.
of yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so I think I have like a general idea. I'm trying to also think if there's timeouts that we need to respect inside the GitHub action itself, because I'm not sure we can
I am not an expert on GitHub actions, unfortunately.
6 hours. I'll look that up. I need to,
so
you know.
I think what we will do is we'll figure out what needs to be done and then get there. But at least in a doability or possibility scenario, there's those elements that are in place for us to get there. That's all I can say at this point.
Okay, cool. So we'll continue the technicalities tomorrow then.
Yep.
Do you want me to set up a calendar meeting and send it to you, or do you want to do that?
Either way, if you are like, I think it might
Actually,
be
I think you should do that because my calendar is free after, and you said you have a couple of meetings.
Yeah, so I will do that. I'll set something up. And so roughly it'll be 1 hour after the start of this call, right? That's when you're free.
Yeah. What is it? You're 9 a.m.
I am at 8 a.m. right now. So right now it's 8:20.
Yeah, your 9 a.m. is like the 1 hour after.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, thanks, Aaron.
No worries.
Hey Rajat, welcome. So we're doing the status, and it's good that you joined because I wanted to ask you if you have any updates and maybe discuss a bit on the CTAM repo.
Yeah, so we'll see. The only thing that we are that I was bogged down on for or related to CTAM for the past 1 week was on the connection side. So the expectation is that we are going only out of band, meaning if there's a platform with a BMC, we connect directly to the BMC. But despite just providing this one, this can translate into multiple connection options. And some apart from the direct BMC options, there's also like if you want like either tunnel through an additional agent like what's called a rack manager, or if you want to tunnel through the BMC itself to reach the UBB, right? We've provided some options for all of these different connection options. So and we kind of ended up validating some of these things, and we're also working with NVIDIA to make sure that nothing breaks with providing these options. The tunneling option is in a way good. It provides the flexibility, but it needs a little bit more validation.
Okay, that's good to know. I have a couple of questions for you in technicalities about the repo, how we're maintaining it. Venkat was earlier on the call, but I think he dropped. Do you have a timeline on when we can get into the state of having a single dev branch and a single main branch?
Yeah, so we were just waiting for this tunneling thing to get fixed. Now we have, at least we have a working solution. We should have actually had it done a month ago, but because of the problems that we encountered while trying to enable tunneling, it kind of got delayed. But NVIDIA had some last minute fixes. We wanted some of these tunneling fixes as well. So we expect this is the last that we want before we declare 1.2 and put it in main. So yeah, around a week's time is what I'm expecting once we review each other's fixes.
Okay, that sounds good. So the reason why I'm asking this is because I'm gonna help you to push some code for the PyPy publishing, building and publishing. So I don't remember if you were in the call when we were discussing this, but the gist of it is, as a maintainer, whenever you want to make a new release, you make a merge commit from dev to main. Well, maybe going through a release branch intermediate to update the version number. But once the commit is on main, it triggers GitHub Actions to publish to PyPy automatically. So I can contribute that code in. I just want to know when we're at the state where this is possible.
So again, this is a pipe, kind of like an action that gets triggered with every commit. Is that correct?
On the main branch. On the main branch specifically. So this changes the semantics. Well, it sets up some semantics specifically for the main branch. So all work is done on the dev branch. So that's the bleeding edge. And whenever you want to release, you make a release, either a patch version, minor version, or whatever, the commit on the main branch triggers that release. So you don't need to do anything manually in terms of publishing or whatever. It's you make the commit and it works.
So it generates the action is expected to kick off a PyPy package which generates documentation. Is that right? And versioning. What all does it cover?
Documentation is could be a step of that. I don't know if you have anything specifically for documentation.
We already have
I haven't checked.
We have Sphinx
integrated.
Okay,
so you have Sphinx. Okay, we can add that as well if you wish.
So you were referring to versioning, isn't it?
I'm referring to the publishing specifically.
Publishing, got it. Okay.
The versioning is still manual because you like when I say you, I don't necessarily mean you specifically the person, but the maintainer needs to know what version number to push, right?
Right.
So you still do that as a change in the code, but then when you push that to as a merge commit to main, then there would be this code that automates the building and publishing to PyPy. So I can add in that code.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, that'll be awesome. So yeah, that's something I would really definitely like to learn. I was actually thinking also along the lines of PyTest based regressions.
Yes, that is part of this as well. Yeah, that's part of this as well. So before publishing, you can run tests. And
and also Venkat was talking about having a emulator, Redfish emulator based testing, and if that can be enabled, then yes, those test cases can be triggered against the emulator to ensure the health of the entire package. That would be awesome.
It likely that is possible. I don't know exactly how that emulator is supposed to work, but we can, if it's software only, we can probably run it. The other thing,
it is software only. Yeah, imagine there being like a virtual management controller, which kind of has some properties and some OCP defined behavior, or DMT defined behavior rather, and it would the test should treat it like as if there's an actual system underneath there, and it will validate all the test cases that we have, or at least a good bunch of test cases, and treat it as a regression run.
okay,
and we end up having good CI/CD as well.
okay, we can add that in if it's software only. We can.
Great, thanks. Yeah, great ideas actually. So let's start with what you suggest, like making a PyPy package. By the way, I just wanted to point out one more thing. NVIDIA enabled binary packaging. So that is another, meaning we can convert that into a binary image as well.
What does that mean? What does
you
that
can get
mean
an
more
executable,
specifically?
basically.
Yeah, but in a bit of detail, how does that work?
Oh, how they have enabled it? They have they have used the Py installer to basically create a Python install Python installer for the entire Python code.
Okay, that answers my question. So you make a Python executable, as it were.
Yes.
Yeah, on the testing bit, another thing that I would like to do is, I was having this discussion with Aaron just now on using the HP OSFCI setup with physical machines to run tests for these DIACs that we have in different repos. We'll start with something small, but maybe. My target goal is to also be able to run some CTAM test or a sanity check on actual hardware that would be on the OSFCI. So before publishing and all of that, you run the PyTest, you run this soft BMC controller, and you can also run like on actual physical hardware. This is also why I was asking you about that discussion with Bhushan a while ago with the GPU cards, because if we can get those GPU cards and put them in the OSFCI setup, then we could actually run some specific GPU tests from CTAM. Does that make sense?
Sorry, yeah. Do we have an NVIDIA contact in this work group?
I don't think we have anyone from NVIDIA right now.
Right.
But there's that mail that we spoke of a couple of weeks ago, and
yeah,
I told you I would dig up the email, and I replied. So I think you should have like that copy of the discussion that was with Bhushan.
Right. But okay. Yeah. Last I spoke to Bush, he was going to ask NVIDIA themselves if they can provide. Let me actually, I might have missed that mail from you, Adrian. Let me actually on that, police. You said you had sent it, right?
Your audio is breaking up a bit. Yeah. I can dig it up again today if you want, and I'll send it again.
No, I got it. 13. Sorry, you sent it on 13th March itself. Apologies. I entirely missed this email. Let me follow up on this. I don't know where this one must And
Okay.
I don't know where this email landed in my mailbox. Apologies, Adrian. Let me follow up with this.
It's fine. It's fine. The point is, if we can get some GPU hardware on those physical machines from the OSFCI setup from HP, then we should be able to run actual workloads from CTAM in the GitHub action before publishing to PyPy.
Got it. Got it. Yeah. Then as a part of actions, you're saying that we could also run regressions. So whenever there's a main commit, also we can all add all those extensions. Is what you're saying, right?
Yeah, I mean, it would be like a full end-to-end test. So I think that's something that you are doing internally, right? When I asked you the last time, you said you're testing this one physical hardware internally before pushing it. So we can externalize that to some extent.
Correct. Yes. I think that I agree that that's needed. I think it's long overdue as well. I think by now, at least, I believe hardware might be available. Let me check with Bhushan on this. I know the hardware availability was a challenge. Let me check with Bhushan on this.
Okay. All right. Thanks for that, Rajat. And in the meantime, if nobody has anything to raise for discussion today, we can end early. There's not a lot of people on the call anyway.
Just one more thing, Adrian. Do you have any other repo in this belonging to this work group which works on out of band like Redfish interface or any other interface? Do you have any other repos?
No,
not
right now.
No, right?
No.
So all your test and validation is you're looking at it as whatever is covered in this discussion, they're all in band, correct?
Yeah, so there's a CPU test, diag. I'm gonna go over a couple of them. Maybe it's not all of them. There's a memory diag. There's gonna be some storage diags. There's the PCI LMP, lane margining, PCI crawler. All of these are meant to be run on in-band on the actual machine. But that being said, there is some stuff pending which hasn't been published yet, which may actually go through the BMC as well. But I don't know the details right now. I don't know if it's going to be Redfish or something else.
No problem. The question, the extension to that question is, do you run the diag directly on target, or do you, or is it like an SSH based connection that's established and then executed?
This isn't mandated. Yeah, I mean, yes. So from the diags that I am aware of right now, and not all of the stuff that I'm thinking of has been published. Some do the first option, some do the second option. So both of them.
Got it.
Technically, the second one with the SSH is somewhat in between in-band and out-of-band. I get your subtlety there. But that being said, in the OCP TV spec or in anything else that we've discussed here, there is nothing to mandate how this connection works.
Okay, no, that's fine. I just want to encourage reusability, and the reason I'm getting to in-band is because there seems to. I honestly, for CTAM, I want to stick to only out of band because we're dealing with manageability here, right? But there are RAS scenarios that may prompt us to look at in-band connection establishment. establishing that in-band connection, and then doing some checks, maybe in-band log checks, or maybe even just in-band error injection. We think we are still exploring, right? And again, honestly, I don't want to go in-band. I want to reduce the number of interfaces I have to a system, because it just makes it that much more difficult to adopt it. But say if I have to go in-band for this, then would you, which, if you can point me to a repo which I can look up for just kind of reusing a standardized approach
Okay.
to connect in-band, right?
Okay. I get your question.
Then I would rather do that for consistency.
So there's this thing which is this diag which is being open sourced right now. I need to do a couple of reviews and help the people with the actual open sourcing. And this has kind of what you're asking about. It has mechanisms to connect to the machine through SSH to be able to run something on the target directly.
Okay, awesome. Yeah.
So
I would like to reuse the same coding practices that you have in there.
Yeah, so I'm thinking we can revisit this discussion after that project is available.
Yep, we have time, no problem. Thank you so much for.
All right, thanks, Rajat. Okay, so in this case, we're out of topics for today. I think we can close. Thank you everyone for joining, and we'll see you next week. Bye.